Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and we are back again doing another speed build in Moonlight Mill. Wow, I don't understand why my brain just can never remember the names of the worlds. It's the not the vampire, werewolf pack. Let me see. Moonwood Mill. My brain just struggles all the time. But I am just doing another little redo of this build. Obviously, I don't think this build necessarily really needs like a redo. I'm just remodeling the whole entire worlds of all of the different worlds and whatnot. I'm probably not making any sense. Um because I kind of just want to practice building and kind of put my own little take on some of the areas because I wanted to try to kind of do the builds based on whatever like realistic city or area that they are related to. When I looked this one up, it was saying that it's kind of related to like the Pacific Northwest kind of area and more of like a obviously it's supposed to be kind of like a lumber mill area and everything like that. So I wanted to try and do a little like log cabin situation. So that's kind of the inspiration that I had. I found a couple of homes that had that kind of look to it or were in those kinds of areas and try to kind of replicate that a little bit. I did struggle with this build a little bit in regards to lighting, as you saw just a little bit ago, because I just could not find any good lighting. All of the lighting just seemed pretty bad. And so I struggled with that a little bit. I struggled with a couple of things with this build just because I am also trying to limit myself to just the base game and whatever main singular pack. Just to challenge myself a little bit more to kind of just utilize the basics and everything and not try and do too much. So I really wanted it. I would have loved to be able to use like the um wood cabin esque kind of siding that comes with the ranch pack, which I cannot remember what that pack is called. But horse ranch. I think that's it was just called horse ranch, right? I just struggle with that. But I kind of just made do with the options that I had with the base game and the werewolf pack. And so it's not exactly what I had in mind because I wanted it to be very wood cabin esque, but we'll make do with what we got at the end of the day. So I also wanted to make it so it wasn't just like a single level home. So I did try to incorporate just like a little bit of a section here in the back to have like a at least one extra room to it to make it look a little bit better, or not better, but make it look a little bit more interesting. So I struggled a lot with the roofing just to make sure that it looked like decent and not like absolutely terrible. But I think at the end of the day, it turned out pretty well. But I also eventually, towards the very end of the build, ended up kind of trying to downsize it a little bit just so that it could stay as like a starter home. And so the front area, the roofing is a little off a bit because I had to shrink it down a little bit. And so it kind of isn't completely aligned like I would have wanted it to. But I just struggled in general, I think, with this floor plan as well because I wanted it to stay a two-bedroom because the original build was a two-bedroom home. It had like your main bedroom and then like a kid's bedroom. So I wanted to make sure that it was still about that same size. Um, so I really struggled with like where to put the rooms and where to include the rooms because of all of the different bump outs and everything, but also wanting to use certain items and everything. So I struggled with that just a wee bit, but I think I ended up making it work a little bit. I definitely wouldn't necessarily say that my version is better than the original version, because James Turner was the one who originally made, I think, all of the lots for this world. So clearly, he is much more talented and skilled than I am. But I tried to do my own little personal take on a little small family home that's like a starter home and whatnot. And I'm pretty impressed that I was able to include all of the things that I had included in the build with that price because, like I said, I was struggling a little bit towards the end when I actually was really trying to pay attention to how much I was spending. Because right here, initially, I'm just kind of just putting down the furniture that I kind of want to include from the werewolf pack, and then also just kind of getting a layout kind of down, and then later on I replaced it with things that I actually do want in each of the rooms and whatnot. um so very quickly I took a turn with how much money was being spent. It was just money was going away super super quick towards the end there. And I did end up having to just change things up a little bit to be a little bit less expensive. And I was really surprised too because I was using mainly a lot of the cheaper items. I wasn't trying to use super expensive things. Like all most of the items that I was using were like, towards the cheaper end of things, but things add up very quickly, quicker than what I even thought. But I will be also transparent and say that obviously this did not end up going up right at 4 o'clock on Sunday like it should have because I won't lie, I did get distracted because I did start playing The Sims 2 because obviously the legacy collections for Sims and Sims 2 came out. And I haven't played any of the Sims yet, but I have been playing Sims 2 because that was the first like PC version of the Sims that I ever played. And I remember all I ever had as far as the expansions or any add-ons to that game was I did have the university pack and that was it, but I played all the time and like that was like my first time really getting super super into the Sims because I only had either oh, I don't know what to say because my only ever other experience with it was I did have Sims Herbs or however you say it on the PlayStation, and so I played that a good bit for sure. But this was my first time really playing Sims with having all of the free will that you have with the other games playing on the PC and everything. So I know I spent hours playing Sims 2, and then I definitely probably spent the most time playing Sims 3 because by that point, with Sims 3, I think eventually towards the end of Sims 3 before Sims 4 happened, I had my own money where I could buy packs myself if I really wanted to buy packs and whatnot. So I definitely was able to get a lot more of the packs and everything and whatnot compared to my one pack with Sims 2. But I was always playing in university with Sims 2 though. But one thing with playing back with the old Sims games is I forgot how hard it is sometimes to like take care of your Sims. I feel like their needs decay so much quicker and like it's much more impactful to the Sims when their needs are not being met. And I also did not realize that when you had phones that they rang a lot. And like I feel like this phone is constantly ringing and like within the first 5 minutes of playing I shouldn't say 5 minutes, but very shortly after my sim got a job, pretty much immediately got fired. So it was definitely a little bit harder, and I don't remember it being that hard because I feel like if I were playing, and I think I was like around like 12, 13, I don't know, maybe even younger. I have no idea. I don't really remember. I am definitely probably wouldn't have kept on playing if it was so hard, but apparently I was able to figure it out because I clearly didn't remember how hard it was to play with The Sims. But I guess that also makes sense because I do remember it being like a very regular thing to have like the kids being taken away from your home. At least for me. I don't know about anyone else, but for me it was. But it is fun to go back and remember how it was way back when, years and years ago, playing and whatnot. But I definitely wish that there was a way to like incorporate some of the things from the older games into Sims 4, but like it still look like Sims 4 because that is the one big thing is like creating a sim and they just look crazy. Let's be honest, they do look crazy because the options just weren't there. But that is one of the reasons I will be honest as to why I kind of was a little delayed with posting this video because I started doing this build and then I took a break and I had some other things to do and whatnot with life. And then when I came back home, instead of finishing the build, I proceeded to play a little bit of Stardew Valley and then I played some Sims 2. Did not finish doing the build. So I just finished doing the build up just, minutes ago as I'm doing this voiceover. So that is also one of the reasons why um I'm a little bit delayed with all of that. But I wanted to add more clutter bits and pieces, but like I said, I was just running out of money and whatnot, but I still wanted it to look lived in. So I'm just kind of adding in little bits and pieces here. And this is also where I'm shrinking down the house a little bit to kind of try and save some money because I was able to like get rid of some windows and whatnot and save obviously a little bit of money with walls. But you know what? At the end of the day, as long as it is under 20,000, we're good because that means it's still a starter home. But it was definitely a little bit of a struggle, I won't lie, to keep it that low because I would have liked to add in a little bit more to the decor part of the build. And I really didn't like how that roof piece went over too far, but like I couldn't not have it go that far because it wouldn't be lined up properly with the rest of the roofing. So I just kind of had to deal with that. And I did try to go out of my comfort zone and not use the same colors that I always use, but I will say that I think I still played it a bit safe with the colors. I didn't go too crazy with the colors and whatnot, but I just feel like I struggle. I don't know how to match up a bunch of like mix match colors and whatnot. Like I just can't do it personally. I'm not talented with having that kind of eye to make sure that things look well and blend well together. It's not something that I was, blessed with. And I'm also just towards the end here going through and seeing if there's anything that I can like replace to make sure that it's a little bit cheaper, but there wasn't really much because that's how I kind of figured of like I did use a lot of like the cheaper items because it is supposed to be kind of like a shabby kind of house anyways because it's literally originally called the New Moon Shack. I just changed it to New Moon Cabin because I wanted it to be a log cabin. But it's like the same thing. So, it is what it is. I think it turned out well, and I still met my goal of it still being a cheaper home. It's not like a super duper expensive home or anything. It should be very affordable for a small little family. And I will say, it's not going to be in this video, but I did later changed the lights, but I kind of forgot to. I had already stopped recording when I realized that I never went back and changed all of the lights to different lights instead of like the regular spotlights and everything. So I do that eventually. It's just not in the video because my brain just is struggling all the time. I was trying to add in I was trying to add in some like good landscaping and whatnot, but I don't know how it really turned out. I think it was okay. I think it could be better, but the lot also is not that big, and the house is a bit on the bigger side as far as like the amount of space it's taking on the lot. That's why I also struggled with putting some things in like the back area of the yard as well. I eventually moved those planter boxes because it just was taking up space because I wanted to fill it up with like making it look a little bit more like the surrounding area with having the little trees and whatnot in the back. But all in all, I think it ended up looking and turning out pretty well. Um, I think I'm pretty much coming towards the end here. I think I just finished up with the landscaping a little bit and changed the few things that I had already talked about around a bit. So I will go ahead and end this here. Thank you guys so much for watching another one of my videos, and I hope you guys did enjoy this video, and I will catch you guys with the next one. Bye!